All right, so today we're gonna cook an entire meal, 3 steps, all with the Ninja. So right now my pressure cooker is pressurizing and I've got a cup of rice in there. I have a pound of my free range ground pork here, a cup of my, or just over a cup of my homemade marinara, and a couple peppers. And what we're gonna do is we're going to pressure cook our rice, then we're gonna use the sear method, which I've never used on the Ninja, to cook our pork. Then we're gonna mix them together with our marinara and we're gonna stuff peppers and then we're gonna air fry them covered in cheese. Let's see how it turns out. So the first thing we have to do is clean these peppers. So because we're gonna stuff them, you wanna obviously cut them in a way that you'll be able to. So I would say just cut them right down the middle lengthwise, and that'll open up those 2 pockets that you'll see there. So we've got those pockets, which is gonna be filled with all of our rice and ground pork and cheese. So basically you just want to the best you can, devein them and take the seeds out. And our pressure cooker sounds like it just got up to pressure. So our rice will be cooking. So there's 1 pepper done, ready to go. Just take your time doing these, there's no rush. So if you haven't checked out our other videos on this Ninja air fryer, well, it's not just an air fryer, it does 7 or 8 different things. This thing is like my new favorite thing to use in the kitchen. So with peppers, the white kind of veins inside them can be a little bit bitter. So if you can take them out the best of your ability, you should, as well as obviously the seeds. So with that rice, once it got up to pressure, it only takes 2 minutes. You'll see that the air fryer automatically switches to the keep warm setting. According to the book, when it says rice, which I have 1 cup rice, 1 cup water, you should then let that sit for 10 minutes. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna let that counter now count up to 10 minutes. Then we'll relieve the pressure, we'll scoop out the rice, and then we'll flip to the sear method for our ground pork. All right, just gonna put this lid over here so nobody gets hurt. So the rice is done. So I'm gonna use a spatula here, a rubber spatula, because when we did a full review on the Ninja, I had a brain fart. The first time I ever used it, I used a metal spoon on this Teflon bowl, and I was shredded in the comments. So now I'm not gonna do that. So I'm just gonna basically use my spatula here to sort of break up that rice. So we got a little bit of sticking, but not too bad. And then I'll use a plastic spoon to scoop it out. So the cook time on the rice was 2 minutes, and then they suggest you let it sit for 10. So what we're gonna do now is going to flip this to the sear setting, which I've never used. Now, the lid stays open, the air fryer lid stays open. So this presumably is gonna get piping hot, and then we're gonna put in our ground pork. We're gonna sear that, get that cooked, and then I'm gonna add my rice in with the pork and my marinara in with the rice and the pork, and we're gonna get that all cooked together, and then we're gonna stuff these peppers, and then we're gonna air fry. So based on feel, this feels really hot. So the ultimate test is gonna be to drop this in and see how it sounds. It's searing. So I'm not gonna add any oil or anything to this because this beautiful ground pork has lots of fat. So I guess initially my only thought on this sear method is you can't temperature control it. It's high as it goes all the time. So you can't dial it back like your stove, you know, as things start to cook, okay, now I want to simmer it or whatever. It's all or nothing as far as temperature goes, which is not a bad thing when you're cooking, in this case, this ground pork. And I think in an ideal situation, I would probably just do it on my gas stove, but I really wanted to try it for this video just to see, because I've had this now for whatever, 4 months, and I've never used this sear method, so I wanted to just try it and see what it's all about. So the downside of doing this process that we're doing today is we're gonna have to scoop out all of the pork, and once I add the rice and the marinara into a bowl, give this a quick wipe out, put in the racks to get the air fryer ready to then air fry the peppers. So there's some steps in between, but it's really not that big of a deal. So you'll see here my pork's getting pretty close to being done. There's a little bit of fat there, but I'm gonna leave that fat because I want the rice to soak up that flavor. So I'm going to add my rice and give that a mix. And then we're gonna add our marinara and make sure that's well coated. We'll let that all warm up together. I grated some cheese, some mozzarella, and some cheddar. So that's ready to go. And our peppers, obviously, as you saw, we prepared those. So I'm gonna hit this with some salt and pepper. So if this was on the stove, I probably wouldn't have it on super high because you don't want, obviously, anything to burn. But because there's the one and only method in this case, that's what you get. So I think it smells fantastic, and I think I may grab a spoon and give it a try. Yep, tastes great. I'm gonna add a little bit of more salt and pepper to it. And I'm gonna stop that actually. So we'll spoon this into a bowl, and then we'll give this a wipe out, and we'll get our peppers stuffed and get them ready to get them into the air fryer. I think what I'm gonna do is start to preheat my air fryer. So I'll turn that on, get that going. Obviously I have my mixture that you just saw that we made. So we'll start stuffing peppers. I quickly realized that I'm gonna have way too much filling, but that's okay. Realistically, probably a quarter cup or even a half cup of rice would have been sufficient, but that's all right. All right, these are looking fantastic. So now we're gonna put a bunch of, actually, yeah, we'll put the cheese on first. So like I mentioned, it's a mix of mozzarella and cheddar, but any kind of cheese that you like would be sufficient. What I'll do is push that down a little bit, and I'm gonna set the pepper there. The only thing I'm worried about is that these are gonna be too high, but we'll have to have a look here for the next rack. Just perfect. All right, so we'll get that other pepper there. That one looks good there. So we're gonna put those in the air fryer now, and I'll probably set it for 10 minutes. Have a look. I mean, essentially everything is cooked, but we wanna melt that cheese really nice, and obviously we wanna soften up that pepper as well. So let's drop these in very carefully. And we'll close that. We'll hit our timer. We'll go down to 10 minutes. And we'll see how it looks. So I've been monitoring, keeping an eye on these. I had set it for 10 minutes. I'm gonna actually give it about another 30 seconds, and then I'm gonna stop the cooking process. The cheese is really cooked really nice, getting a little bit of char on the peppers. I think it looks fantastic. So we'll give it another 10 seconds. We'll open it up, we'll have a look, and let me know what you think. So I think they look great. They smell fantastic. Can't wait to cut into those and give them a try. So I hope you liked our video today. Don't forget to give us a like, leave us a comment, and we'll see you on the next episode.